So I'm gonna ask you guys a question. If you are a sponsored athlete or you compete for a team that is sponsored, do you know the FTC's most recent ad guidelines for your situation? Maybe some of you do. I'd be willing to say that most of you don't. The FTC controls, it's their job to stop deceptive ads. So they always have an updated guideline that controls both advertiser and the endorser in these matters. So what I want to do is I want to go over some of these, and I'm actually going to read them word for word from the FTC's PDF document. I don't want to paraphrase it. I want to say it word for word and then, give a further explanation if needed. But this is really, really important stuff. Again, I'm going to quote straight from it because this is legal big boy stuff. So really, really important, especially if you represent large brands. You don't want to put you or that brand in jeopardy because you don't understand the guidelines that the FTC has put out and the most appropriate way to represent those brands. So I'm just going to go over a couple bullet points. This is when to disclose. It says, disclose when you have any financial, employment, personal, or family relationships with the brand, right? Obviously, there's a financial relationship that's easy to know. If there's an employment obligation, if you're employed, considered an employee of the brand. If you have a personal connection, your boyfriend works for the company, your dad owns the company, some sort of close personal connection, family relationships. The first bullet point under that, financial relationships are not limited to money. Disclose relationships if you got anything of value to mention a product. If a brand gives you free or discounted products or other perks, and then you mention one of its products, make sure you disclose even if you weren't asked to mention that product. Don't assume your followers already know about your brand relationships. That is a big one, because I think athletes fall into this, maybe this trap that if that brand is tied to their industry and they've mentioned them enough, after a while, athletes will just tag or mention the brand. But every single post needs to include explicit language that you are representing that brand, that there is a formal relationship with that brand. It says make disclosures even if you think your evaluations are unbiased. Going on, it says keep in mind tags, likes, pins, and similar ways of showing you like a brand or product are endorsements. If posting this is really important, especially for you athletes that travel. You compete in a World Cup over in Europe, or you're over in Asia competing, or whatever. If you're out of this country, this is important to know. If posting from abroad, U.S. law applies if it's reasonably foreseeable that the post will affect U.S. consumers, which in your case, it will. Foreign laws might also apply. So if you know you're going to be competing in France for the next week, you may want to just Google. I don't know. You may want to just find out if there's any prominent foreign laws regarding that. They obviously have their own sets of laws in different countries, but for the U.S., it will apply. Even though you're out of the country. And the last point under this topic, if you have no relationship to a brand and are just telling people about a product you bought and happen to like it, you do not need to declare that you don't have a relationship. Okay, so if there's no relationship and you're just giving a brand a plug, have at it. And you can do that knowing that there is no formal relationship. If there is a relationship, then that's when all these other bullet points apply. The next section on their PDF document is entitled How to Disclose. The rule of thumb here says place so it's quote unquote hard to miss. The disclosure should be placed within the endorsement message itself. Disclosures are likely to be missed if they appear only on an About Me or profile page, which I know some of you do. If they only appear on an About Me or profile page, at the end of posts or videos, or anywhere that requires a person to click more. So again, you just have to make sure that it is hard to miss, that if anyone goes there, that they will, it's obvious. There's no two ways about it. It says don't mix your disclosures into a group of hashtags or links, right? Because they get lost, especially if, when you put, I don't know, 10, 12, 20 hashtags in there. And especially, I know some of you do it, you'll stuff all those hashtags into the first comment of your post, so it doesn't show up in the main caption. You'll put it in the first comment. You would want to avoid doing it there. I mean, that's that like violates like two of the points that I just mentioned. It says if your endorsement is in a picture or on a platform like Snapchat or Instagram stories, you must superimpose the disclosure over the picture and make sure viewers, this is important, have enough time to notice and read it. So you can't just flash something up there. It can't be small in the corner. It has to be, again, obvious, legible. There has to be enough time for any viewer who's reading, whatever, or observing that post. They have to have enough time. You have to make sure they have enough time that they understand and can read your endorsement or that disclosure. It says if making an endorsement in a video, the disclosure should be in the video and not just in the description uploaded with the video. Viewers are more likely to notice disclosures made in both audio and video. Some viewers may watch without sound, and others may not notice superimposed words. It says if making an endorsement in a live stream, the disclosure should be repeated periodically so viewers who only see part of the stream will get the disclosure. They don't go in to say how many minutes. I mean, if it's a 5-minute video, if it's an hour video. But again, if I were any of you, I would err on the side of caution and just set a timer. If you're doing an hour video, I would set a timer every, 10, 12, 15 minutes and make it a point to mention that. It says use simple and clear language. Simple explanations like thanks to ABC brand for the free product are often enough if placed in a way that is quote unquote hard to miss. So again, there's that verbiage. It says so terms like advertisement, ad, and sponsored are certainly appropriate. On a space limited platform like Twitter, the terms Acme or like ABC partner or ABC ambassador, where ABC is the brand name, are also options, right? It says it's fine, but not necessary to include a hashtag with the disclosure, such as hashtag ad or hashtag sponsored. The last bullet point here on simple and clear language is don't use vague or confusing terms like quote unquote SP, quote unquote SPON for sponsored, or collab. I see that once every few days at least. Just the short-term collab. It says don't use that, so keep that in mind. Or standalone terms like thanks or ambassador. That and I see that actually too. I actually just saw it about 10 minutes ago before I turned on this camera. Do not use standalone term thanks or ambassador. Stay away from other abbreviations and shorthanded language when possible. The disclosures should be in the same language as the endorsement itself. Don't assume that a platform disclosure tool is good enough, but consider using it in addition to your own good disclosure. At the end of this, it says, what else do you need to know? It says, you can't talk about your experience with a product you haven't tried. Seems like basic stuff, but hey, this is the year 2020, man. Like, when you've been in my business, you've seen it all. That's all I can That's all I can say. Don't be afraid. If you're an athlete, don't be afraid to bring that up, right? To your team or to an organization that says, hey, we want to get a picture with you. We want to put this up on our social. We want, can you hold this? Can you say, hey, you mention this? Don't be afraid to mention that. I wouldn't. Again, I don't know how the FTC is going to regulate that, but hey, why do anything that would put you or your sponsors or your team in jeopardy? Just do it the right way. It says, if you're paid to talk about a product and thought it was terrible, you can't say it was terrific. Again, not sure how they monitor it, but that's the guideline. You can't make up claims about a product that would require proof the advertiser doesn't have, such as a scientific proof that a product can treat a health condition. If you want more info, you can go to ftc.gov/influencers. There you can find probably a little bit more comprehensive information. You can also find the PDF document that I was just quoting all this from. Again, if you are a sponsored athlete, or you compete for a team that is sponsored, or you have other sponsorship obligations, you want to read this document. You want to become familiar with it. Make sure that all your posts, videos, live videos, any piece of content that you post, you want to make sure is abiding by these guidelines. Again, the FTC, I would imagine, is not someone you want to mess with, or that your sponsors are interested in messing with. Just do it the right way. Just do it the right way, and you'll be fine. There's people get caught up and focused on, they won't let us do this, they won't let me do that. But for everything that they won't let you do or won't let us do, there's like 100 ways to like do it the right way and just do it clean. I love seeing creative content. Like, I love seeing creative content from athletes that, they stay within these guidelines, and they just are super, super creative on ways to represent and ways to endorse their brand. So again, ftc.gov/influencers. If you want to read this document and if you want to find some more information. So hope you learned something. Please subscribe below and follow, and I'll keep sharing athlete branding tips and some best practices, whether it's athlete brand or digital marketing for athletes.